Chapter 37. The next morning, Da'afu shook Minli awake. "Wake up, sleepy," Dafu said, pulling her up. "Come on, we want to show you something." "Yes," Afu said. "Hurry!" Minli followed them out of the house and through the streets. It was almost as if there were a parade, for all the family were coming out of the house and following. Minli hadn't realized Da'afu's family was so large. There were aunts and uncles, cousins. The home behind the red gate doors was really a village of relatives. As Minli ran around through the open doors, she stopped and grinned, because there, waiting on the stone ground, was Dragon. He was strong and smiling, sitting straight and alert. There was no daze in his eyes and no foul blackness on his body. In fact, except for 4 pale raised scars on his arm, he looked exactly as he did before they met the green tiger. "You're okay," Minli said as she hugged him. "Of course," Dragon told her, grinning with happiness. "I told you that dragons heal really quickly." "Yes, they do," Agong said from beside her. After the poison left him, his wounds healed almost immediately. Minli was so happy to see the dragon that she didn't notice that most of Da'afu's family were surrounding them in awe. "A dragon?" she heard one small boy whisper. "A real one." "We told you," Da'afu murmured to their cousins. "See?" "Unfortunately, friend dragon," Agong said loudly so that all could hear, "you are too large for us to show you proper hospitality inside our home." "That's okay. We should leave soon anyway," Minli said, and turned to Da'afu. "Will you still show us the way to Neverending Mountain?" "Of course." They grinned, and Amma said, "Yes, you should leave as soon as you can. The sooner you leave, the sooner you can return to your parents. That would be for the best." Agong nodded when he heard Amma's words. "Breakfast, then," he said, "and then we will see our new friends off." So even though the rocky land was cold and windy, the family brought their breakfasts of warm porridge out to eat. No one wanted to miss a moment of looking at a real dragon. Amma led a large iron pot rolled in on a rough wood platform by 2 of Da'afu's uncles in front of the dragon. The pot was steaming and full, and Minli recognized it as the medicine tea. An aunt carried cups of the tea on 2 trays balanced on her shoulders with a stick for anyone to take. Minli carefully reached for a cup. The fragrant aroma was too tempting to let pass. "We should not call this drink medicine," an uncle said. "It is too delicious, and now that there is no more green tiger, there is nothing for it to cure. Maybe we should call it well tea," Afu laughed, "since green tiger is down the well." "No," Agong said. "We want to remember our friends, not our enemies." "Then we should call it dragon well tea," Dafu said, "because it made the dragon well." The family all cheered at that, and there was a look of softness in Dragon's eyes that Minli had never seen before. He was so unused to kindness, she realized. He had spent most of his years alone and trapped by his flightless body. Too soon, breakfast was over, and Minli was packing her possessions into the yellow silk bag the king had given her, while Amma tied supplies onto the backs of Afu and Dafu. "Just in case," she said, slipping in their simple food of rice wrapped up in leaves and salted boiled eggs. "Bring Minli to Neverending Mountain and then come right home." Aegon put his hands on Minli's shoulders and said, "You're a brave girl, Minli, quick and clever. But you have been away from home too long. Go as quickly as you can." Amma wrapped her arms around Minli, then brought out a warm jacket. "For you," she said. "We made it while you were sleeping. Your dress is too thin for the mountain." The jacket was multicolored, made of large patches sewn together, some dark blue, some deep purple, and a few bright red. Minli smiled thankfully. Already the cold wind was chilling her, but she was hesitant to ask these people for anything since they had already given her so much. As she put it on, she marveled at its warmth. The fabric looked like plain cotton, but she felt as warm as if she had put on thick fur. "Let's go then," Da'afu said, and the boy swung up his arm in excitement. It was only then that Minli noticed a large gash missing from his sleeve. She looked at the sleeve of her new coat and the bright red patch that made it, and she gasped. "Goodbye," Da'afu's family waved, and as they waved, Minli saw each of them had missing material from their sleeves. Her goodbyes froze in her throat as she realized her warm coat was made from pieces cut from the family's own clothing. "Come on," Afu said, her white hand slipping from her notched sleeve to pull at Minli. "Hurry up." "Yes," Dragon said. "We should all go so the twins can return to their village as soon as possible." Minli nodded, and as she waved a grateful goodbye to the village, the sea of ruined sleeves fluttered back at her.